Hey guys, welcome to another video. This one is all about the iPhone 13's upcoming upgrades. We have news about Touch ID possibly returning, some internal specs, camera specs for the iPhone 13, and also naming because we don't know if it's 13 or 12S right now, but all of the latest news and leaks when it comes to the iPhone 13 series. In this video, I'm going to focus on a couple of hardware upgrades that seem to be leaking out right now. The first is Touch ID coming back to iPhones, which is kind of exciting actually, and some camera upgrades possibly coming down the line from the Pro Max into the other phones. Also, there are a lot of rumors coming about the notch of the iPhone 13. So many rumors about it getting smaller or shallower, so we'll discuss those as well. Firstly, let's come to the name of the iPhone 13, and it's easy to call it the iPhone 13. It's kind of what people know is the new iPhone. You can call it a 2021 iPhone as well if you like. But from what we know, a lot of rumors are saying that internally at Apple, this is being treated as an S year. So they could even call it the iPhone 12S, which does make a lot of sense. They changed the design massively in 2020, so moving into this year, some slight upgrades to the design and some internal upgrades could very well be called the iPhone 12S, and we know 13, kind of an unlucky number. Maybe Apple don't want to just call it the iPhone 13 just in case. Let's get on to those Touch ID rumors then, which is actually really exciting, and there are a lot of reasons why Apple would bring Touch ID back into the 2021 iPhones. We all know the history of Apple having Touch ID. It was in the famous design, the big bezel at the top and bottom and Touch ID being there. It was a massive design feature that Apple had, right back to the original iPhones, this touch button down there. And it's obviously something that is synonymous with Apple phones. Over the years, though, they had to take it away, mainly because when they went to take those bezels away, which they had to do because that's just an old design, there were a lot of screen technologies that prevented them from putting it under the screen. Apple have, of course, taken 3D Touch away these days, and Touch ID is just ubiquitous in Android phones, and it is an advantage to have it, so there's no reason why Apple shouldn't have it as well. There are also a lot of people wearing masks right now, and that renders Face ID completely and utterly useless. It's not a good feature to have when you're wearing a mask, and these are high-end phones, so there's no reason why they shouldn't give us Face ID and Touch ID. Both on the phone would be a good feature. There are also rumors that Apple are actually testing ultrasonic fingerprint scanners for Touch ID. So for right now, the vast majority, 90% of Android phones are using optical image sensors. That's literally just a camera under the screen that takes a 2D photo of your thumbprint or your fingerprint. The main standout brand that uses ultrasonic fingerprint sensors is Samsung, and they've done this for a few years now. There are some advantages to ultrasonic in terms of security because it actually takes an ultrasonic scan of your fingerprint. This is supposed to be more secure than an optical scanner, although with Samsung phones, we've seen a lot of news regarding their security. People were able to unlock the phone with a screen protector and any fingerprint. So there are some security issues that have been there in the past. Samsung look to have ironed those out though. So ultrasonic, I think, is a decent high-end feature to have over optical. And of course, we know Apple are going to big this up in terms of security as well. Next up on the leak list though, it looks like Apple are going to be giving us some better Wi-Fi or faster Wi-Fi connections in the new iPhones. Wi-Fi 6E is tipped to be in these phones. This is a new standard for Wi-Fi. This is an upgrade to Wi-Fi, but it's only going to work with Wi-Fi 6E compatible routers. You can think of Wi-Fi 6E essentially like 5G for Wi-Fi. So it actually uses a new spectrum, a shorter spectrum, but a much wider spectrum. And that means you can transfer data much, much faster. So you can transfer a lot of data through this, not as far. So if you're close to the router, this is really going to help you. It's going to be much faster. So when you're streaming movies or something like that at home, you should get much faster and more secure Wi-Fi. And obviously the ability to have more phones on that Wi-Fi without taking up all the bandwidth. Next, we come to some notch rumors, and these are just going to persist for the entire time up until when we get the phones and see if they have actually reduced it. More rumors, again, that the notch may get shallower. So not actually taking it in from the left and right sides like most renders and fan-made renders have, which I think just looks super ugly overall. But Apple just making it shallower, so making it protrude less from the left-hand side. I actually think this design looks good. I think if Apple are going to reduce the size, This is the way they should do it. It looks just better on the eye for me. I think the very narrow notches that are deep do not look good at all. That's just my personal opinion. But I think when Apple do shrink the notch, this is how it will be. Now we come to some camera hardware upgrade rumors. As we know in the iPhone 12 Pro Max, Apple introduced a new type of main image sensor, which is really exciting. It is slightly bigger than the others. Now, in testing for these phones, there are occasions where the bigger sensor does help out. In good lighting conditions, you're really going to get good images from pretty much any phone these days. Even budget phones, they take great images in good lighting conditions. But obviously, the bigger the sensor, the more versatile it can be in low light conditions and in some other conditions as well. Bigger sensors are always welcome when it comes to photography. Just on the Pro Max in the 12 series, it looks like that could be coming down into the other phones, maybe the iPhone 13 Pro. That rumor is a bit sketchy for now, but what does seem to have some quite heavy leaks on is Apple taking another new technology from the Pro Max and putting it down the line, and this is sensor shift stabilization. Sensor shift is something that Apple are just using in the main image sensor on the Pro Max right now. This is different to optical image stabilization, which uses magnets to actually stabilize the lens of the optics system. So when you're taking video and you want that smooth video, instead of stabilizing the optics though, you stabilize the entire camera sensor. So that is actually the thing that moves around. And Apple are obviously putting this into their phones. They tried it out with the Pro Max, looks like they like it. And this could be coming down the line into the Pro and maybe even the 13 as well. And also some other rumors are suggesting the ultra-wide cameras are going to get a boost as well with some better, faster lenses. So letting more light into the sensor of those ultra-wides. That is always a good thing because the more light you have, the better image quality you can get. One thing we know Apple are trying to get though is a periscope zoom camera. It looks like that may come in 2022 and not 2021. Apple are years behind when it comes to periscopes. We've seen the S21 Ultra from Samsung, which is just incredible. A lot of other Android brands using it as well. It's amazing, it works, it's a great technology, and Apple is a few years behind for sure. They're really just nowhere to be seen when it comes to zoom ranging cameras. Great image quality, amazing video quality. Certainly behind in that. We may have to wait until 2022 until we get those periscopes. Here's everything we know about the iPhone 13, otherwise known as the iPhone 12s series so far though. You can pause the video here if you want, just have a look at the specs. This is the best that we know at the moment. These could of course change as we get closer to the official launch. We're still quite a way out, but I have put Touch ID in here as a possibility. We know of course that Apple are moving to an A15 chipset on a 3nm process. That is confirmed. So we know those specs. When it comes to the dimensions and the screen sizes, these are not expected to change. But for what we know, the Pro and Pro Max should be moving to 120Hz displays, which is going to be fantastic. No confirmation yet about the Mini and the iPhone 13 in terms of 120Hz. So we'll have to wait and see if they're going to get them or if they're going to stick to 60Hz. Other than that though, we should get millimeter wave 5G on all of the phones, and for the Pro and Pro Max, should be getting 6GB of RAM in both of those. There will be lots more leaks and rumors videos about the 2021 iPhone, so do subscribe to the channel if you want to see those. Check out some other videos for some helpful iPhone content as well. That is it for this one though. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.